Alright guys, let's go over this equation editor in Microsoft Word. You'll see I have it on the left hand side. I also have your important math symbols document open here. I'm going to close that in just a minute, but I want to talk about why there's so much more information than you've been given this year. This is the 2020-2021 school year. You're going to say we haven't seen a lot of these symbols. We have an abbreviated year, so we've missed a lot of the higher level stuff that isn't going to be on your EOC, but things that you want to be introduced to before you get into even higher math. You are leaving the lower levels of math and you're slowly, by this point, getting into the elementary part of moderate mathematics, and you're going to start seeing more and more stuff like this. In Algebra 2, this is going to be all over the place. Once you get past that, you'll see these in some of your even higher level classes, but it's still good to see them. But we do not have time this school year. So when you're looking this over, I had a student last year who made this for me. It's a lot of the stuff that you're going to want to know to do. Make sure you end every paragraph proof with QED or you will not get full credit for it. That's a Latin abbreviation for that is all or we have finished. That just lets me know that you intended to stop where you stopped. And maybe you didn't walk away from it. Come back, glance over your proof and say, that looks finished, and then move on to the next one. It's very important to tell me that you feel you've covered everything you need to cover and there's nothing left to talk about. Make sure you have QED at the end. When you're looking through my file called compiled documents for quarter 2, you'll see a paragraph proof example and you'll see that the last thing I wrote was QED. And if you're using my template, you won't miss it. I'll be honest, I like to copy and paste my template right into my document before I start. And that's just so I know I have everything I need just to set it up. And then I fill in the blanks. Of course, you'll see that it's not, elementary school level fill in the blanks. It's a lot to fill in, but at least you have the structure given to you. But let's look at some of the things that you're definitely going to want to know how to do before we start. Or before we get into too much of it, I want to show you just how to get to the equation editor. If you hold down the Alt key and then the equal key, which is next to backspace, it'll bring you to an equation editor. Once you have that up, you have a lot of different ways you can do things. You can use your symbols box here, drop it down, and you'll see some pretty common things that we've been using. Less than. You can just punch those in. Obviously, those are on the keyboard. What's something that you might want to? Let's go into here. And let's see what they have for geometry. So here they have a right angle, an angle, a measured angle, a spherical angle. You're not going to ever use that. This is a right angle with an arc. That's just a congruency mark in there for you. Here you have a right triangle. But there's something I want to show you something. Now, when I hovered over angle, you notice it had the name angle, and in parentheses it had backslash or forward. Yeah, that's a backslash, right? Angle. That means if I, in the equation editor, type exactly this in, I'll get that symbol, so I don't have to keep coming up here. If I look at this one, it's going to say parallel, and then it says slash parallel. This will say therefore. And what that means is I come into the equation editor box. Once it's highlighted, I can slash angle, and when I hit spacebar, it's going to give me the angle sign. Another one that you're going to want to use a lot is degree. Right? So I did backward slash degree, hit spacebar, and it gives me the degree symbol. You're not going to want to use it this year because we didn't get over it, but that's another really big one, especially later on. But if you get into the box, but your equation editor drop down is missing, you're going to come back here. We're going to run through each of these types of things in a minute. Just to show you that you do have a lot of different things. You have your operators. Here's your composition function. So if you are typing the second half when we're doing the rigid motion transformations and you want to string them together, you can just put slash circ. What's the one? Triangle. Because we're in geometry, we don't have an actual straight triangle one. Nope, where is it? Yeah. Backslash increment, right? The change symbol is your triangle. So I can say triangle ABC. I can do a lot of stuff with this equation editor. But this is going to make your papers look much nicer, much more college level. So that's why we're going to do this. And I want you guys to practice with it. So the first thing I want you to do is write something like a subscript. Let's say I have, so I want you to write the line M. To do that, I'm going to hold down Alt, hit the equal sign that's next to backspace. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to look through these until I get to my script. Script means exponent, subscript, all that kind of fancy stuff. And then these boxes kind of tell me where everything's going to be. This means my base, and this is a little exponent. Here's my base with a subscript. So I want a subscript because I know here, capital L means the line, and the subscript tells me the name of the line. So now I have the line M. Now what if I wanted to say the line M is parallel to line N? Now I'm going to come over, hold down Alt, hit equals, go to script, and do this because I want the line M. But I'm going to go ahead and copy this because I'm not a big fan of going back up top. Put 2 spaces because I know I need something in between them. I'm going to go and set this part up. A line, make sure it's capital M, is something parallel to line N. And to get that parallel in there, I'm just going to put \parallel, and when I hit spacebar, it's going to give me the line M is parallel to the line N. This is going to make all of your work look so much better. It's going to be concise, and it's not going to be so messy. Some of you have tried typing in different steps and stuff this year, and it looks a lot like this. Now, I obviously know your intentions there, but look how much nicer, how much easier it is to read up here than it is here, especially when you're doing stuff like, one that I get a lot too is like, right, that means line segment LM. I get it, but wouldn't it just be easier to write the line segment LM as this? Accent, here it is. And then it says bar when I hover over it. And now I just have the line segment LM. See how much nicer it looks? So we're going to do some practice with that. We'll have a couple assignments where I'll tell you to write something out and you'll come in here and use it. Play around in here. Look through this. You're mainly going to want to be in basic math for now. Here's a really good example for future stuff that you might want to do. You can put your cube root in here and make it nice and clean, right? Instead of trying to figure out how in the world do you do that. It's a very powerful tool you're going to want to be using forever. Now that we've covered subscripts, let's look at exponents really quick. So hold down Alt, hit the equal sign next to backspace, and then we're going to do an exponent. Let's do x squared. Now I'm not going to come here for my script this time and do it because I know another trick that's much more efficient. When we're inside the equation editor, we type our base and then we hold down shift and hit 6, and it's going to give us this little caret. Whatever I put after that caret and then hit spacebar after that, it's going to automatically turn it into an exponent. I can do something like b to the 36th power. I can even do stuff like y b plus, so now back up and then hit b plus 3. And then that's going to let me change that exponential value of b by 3 when b is my input. Fractions are super easy. Hold down Alt, hit the equal sign, type your numerator. Now, if your numerator has more than one value, hit your divide sign first. That is your divide sign. That's why we use the other slash to type things in. And when you hit spacebar, it's going to give you a fraction, and you can put whatever you want. Right, so now I have x over c to the 5th for a fraction. It is really just the button next to shift, or the one if you have the separate number pad next to numlock most of the time, just your slash. Your lines, like we kind of talked about already, are in accent. We have our line for bar. We have our ray. So line segment, ray, line. And you just click any of those and throw it in. So let's make array CD. There you go. And then various, like I said, is just pump right through it and knock it out. Play around with that if you have Word installed on your computer. If you do not, let me know during class time on the next day that we have scheduled just to work on this, and we'll see what we can do for you.